sir. Meeting called to order. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have minutes from the,
Do roll call.
oh, I'm sorry. I jumped right ahead of that. Thank you.
Councilmember Bory,
Here.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley,
Aye.
and Councilmember Rochester is absent.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll do approval of the previous minutes of the previous meeting from February 14th. Everybody looked them over. We have a motion to approve as presented.
It's just a couple of spelling things, but we can take care of those later. It's not a big deal. We've got Council Moore. Also, there's one section where it starts off, I attended our quarterly meeting. I believe that should move the bullet down to that area, so, but other than that, look good. So,
Okay, so this is typographical stuff.
correct, yep, nothing.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second it.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any further discussion? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, presentations of petitions, general question period for the public, members of the community. We don't have anyone here. So we'll move on to my report, Supervisor Corey. Good evening. I would like to extend a big thank you to our highway department. They have done an outstanding job taking care of our roads this winter. They, including our highway and superintendent, have spent many overnight and weekend hours keeping the problem areas open due to weekend winds and icy conditions. Overall, our roads have been kept open and safe, and we thank them. I recently attended 2 chamber breakfasts, the New York State Legislative Forum and the State of the County. These events were well attended. There were many topics discussed, and one that I feel is invaluable is a bill that would provide CHIP-style funding to municipalities for water and wastewater needs. In small communities where the number of users on a water or wastewater district are minimal, the cost of maintenance is unaffordable. If this type of funding was shared by states similar to CHIPS, which supports our roads, we could upkeep our system gradually without taxing the users. So thank you to Billy Jones for pushing this through. I hope that it comes to fruition soon. The leadership team met in February and again in March to form a new joint youth agreement. As always, the 3 municipalities worked together to provide a solution to fund this invaluable program. As we all know, supporting the growth of our youth in our community is critical to the growth of our township. The Champlain EMS Board is conducting research to define aspects of their organization that may alleviate the town's concern with having the expense of emergency services within the tax cap. The leadership team will be meeting in early April to discuss the findings of this research with the EMS Board. The date is to be determined. Update on our marketing initiative. We have received samples of stationery to approve and also 2 versions of our mission statement from the Blair Benner Group. We will discuss this and possibly approve each under new business tonight. And Councilmember Bory will report more about our progress to this project in his report. As noted last month, we had our kickoff meeting on February 8th for our comprehensive plan revision project with AES and the Department of State. At this time, while waiting for our contract with DOS to be approved, we have begun forming our teams to work on this project. If anyone from the community, especially business owners, are interested in being a team member, please call me. Restore New York grant funding. The application for Round 7 grant funding was successfully submitted on January 27th, 2023. And I reported that last month, but I added we are patiently awaiting for the announcement. Public announcements. With the setting of the clocks ahead for daylight savings time, this is a reminder to check your batteries and your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. It's also a good time to check your fire extinguishers and review your evacuation plans with your family. There will be a free rabies clinic held at the Champlain Fire Station on Elm Street in Champlain. This will be on April 4th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. You must pre-register by calling the Clinton County Health Department at 518-565-4870. The 2022-2023 New York State Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program is now available. The New York State Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program began as a new federal fiscal year on October 1st, 2022, and updated the application recently for 2023. The updated version of the New York State LIH WAP application is available on our website, and we will also include this information in the next quarterly billing, which I believe is already, that last quarter I've gone out with, so I'm repeating this from last month. If you have any questions, please call the Town of Champlain offices. The town board would like to appoint more alternates to the zoning board of appeals and the planning board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. Please contact me if you have interest for details. And I know I put that in every month, and I apologize, but I really would like more alternates. Reminder, the New York State burn ban will go in effect on March 16th and will remain in effect through May 14th. I want to thank you to all of our veterans and active military men and women for your service, and also thank you to all of our first responders for your dedication to your community. And note, we still have surgical masks and KN95 masks available if needed, and we also have the mosquito dump kits available, and if spring ever gets here, we'll need them. Thank you very much. Reports from the council members. Councilmember Moore, take the start.
We're working on the National Fitness Campaign for a grant for exercise equipment at the Bob's End Park. We've had a couple meetings about that, and webinar, and may or may not be this year. We're looking to get it as soon as possible, but with all the different funding sources, it may make more sense to do it in 2024. It's still a good program, and we are trying. The supervisor was there, and we've talked to a few people, and it might work.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to mention about the school wanting to partner with us? I mean, I have an
I
email.
figured we might want to wait until the discussion took place.
Well, there was an email just that came out this afternoon afterwards. So they are still looking into it. They may not be able to share funds towards it, but they still want to be in partnership. So I think I had suggested we reach out to the other school district and township that the county was telling us about, and try to learn from their project how they manage together. So yeah, I think they will partner together. It's a worthy project that we can both use. So it's just funding we're going to have to. We have many avenues we're looking at.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And, that's all I have to report.
Thank you, sir. And thanks for helping with that.
Yeah,
I think we can make it happen.
we'll try. That's all you can do is try.
That's right. Councilmember Hunter.
Let's see, Reminder, the Rouse's Point Fire Department will be holding an all-you-can-eat breakfast on April 16th from 8 till noon. Again, I will not be present at our next regularly scheduled monthly meeting, so I know one of my council member cohorts or supervisor will make that announcement again. Also, the February 15th email that I received from the Champlain Fire Department has, we've been in communication with them in regards to coming to the town and making a presentation to the board on the overview of maintenance specifically related to dry hydrants. And I know I CC'd you on that email,
Mhm.
so I look forward to having JP Philly on and possibly others come and kind of speak to the town board in regards to that because of the nature, of course, safety. So we need to kind of identify which of those hydrants are dry and what the issues are.
Maybe we should carbon copy Alan Racine and
Yeah.
make, see that he's here and Chris Matat.
Right,
Yes, definitely. Matter of fact, Alan just provided a list to Chris
okay.
to check out, and there were two that were definitely still active.
Mhm.
I think it's 3 that need to be worked on.
Okay, all right, good. So, also, the Champlain Fire Department, as you can tell by reading your zoning board minutes as well as your planning board minutes, they're very active in their process of trying to get everything moving forward. I know that they met with the architects to kind of present, have the architects present their latest plans in regards to the upcoming fire department, and they're also looking at this time to kind of identify with the opportunity of being able to look forward to a public forum. And so when that will occur, stay tuned. So, also, I'm just looking through here. I think that's it in regards to that. I gave everybody a copy of updated EDUs. And so this single sheet, as you can see, if you look at the back page, we do have the Tritech Americas, which is the Champlain 2 solar, that very soon will be going online and will be operational. And as a result, that particular account 24-0 will be moving from 0.5 to 5 EDUs as a result of being classified as a level 3 solar farm. So I want to make sure everybody is aware of that. Also, all updates as they appear on this front and back-sided form kind of show any appeals that actually originated from back in March of 2022 to the current time. So you have a copy of that. Also, I've given you, because I know that we had met recently in regards to an EDU adjusted listing, so I wanted to make sure everybody had a copy of that. So now you have a paper copy of that, and it kind of shows not only changes that might have occurred based upon November reassess or EDU appeals, but also now currently March with the addition of that solar farm on Route 11. So I want to make sure that you're brought up to speed on that. Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, thank you.
Okay. And also, once we get down to other business, I'm sure I gave everybody a copy of the most current noise ordinance draft, as well as the Town of Champlain local law number 10A for the dog law. So we can talk more about that at that time. So I think that's all I have this time.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Councilmember Bory.
I'll start with zoning, and Julie correct me if I say anything wrong. So the last zoning board meeting was on 2/16/23, so February. They did have their public hearing for the Champlain Fire District. Councilmember Hunter made mention of that. Looks like things are moving forward, as you mentioned. And there was another public hearing, was it a public hearing for the solar project, or was it a public hearing for that? That's coming up, correct?
No, there was one for one of them, I think.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
had three.
Okay.
I think it was for the one in 276.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
It was,
yeah. So also, so moving ahead with that, with all the questionnaires and everything. And then the other, yeah, so solar project. And then there was another application for an area variance. So, and there'll be a public hearing on that. So the next meeting is on March 16th. That is open to the public. That's just the time of our meeting, that's only a couple days away, but open to the public. It's at 5:30 here at the town office. And there's, Julie, just remind me, how many public hearings are scheduled?
Three.
Three public hearings scheduled for March 16th at 5:30. All right, so there's the zoning report. Thank you, Julie, for that help, I appreciate it. Next, I'll move on to water. We did, so this has been an ongoing thing. We've been working on our water code, trying to address, making sure that our water code is addressing specifically making sure new hookups and all the proper payment schedules, permits, and proper verbiage are there. And it looks like we did get correspondence back from our legal counsel, and it looks like that it is covered in there.
Yeah, so our interpretation is correct,
Okay,
yeah. So we can move forward with those two policies.
which is good,
Yeah,
yes. So is that something then that you would like to have for the April meeting? A proposal for what the language would be and?
we'd really like to. I've got the schedule of charges and the two permits almost done. It still needs a little bit more tweaking. I had Sarah work on it for me a little bit, and I've worked on it.
And I think the legal counsel was supposed to be looking through that verbiage, and make sure that it was okay as well, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
He's got the rough drafts.
Yeah.
I've got to fine tune them up and send them back.
Okay. So we met 2 days, and
But
just as a report, we found that we were questioning things that we weren't sure we had the answers to, so we sought our legal counsel in order to make sure that if we were interpreting things correctly and we weren't doing something that was already there or not necessary, just making sure we're if it's already there, we don't need to fix it. So it looks like our interpretation was correct, and I want to give thanks to Supervisor Trombley and Councilmember Hunter for their help on working on that. And I think we've even asked Brian, Councilmember Moore here for just some tidbits. But it looks like if that stuff comes back, and the language that we've changed, or we plan to change per our last meeting, we might just need to meet one time in order to just finalize it, so we can have something to bring to the board meeting on the 14th. That's the way I take it.
I agree, so after the meeting, let's just look at our calendars and schedule that.
So, all right, so that's the water code update. Marketing update, so there's some stuff on the agenda for this evening. Of course, the logo, the mission statement is also part of what we're looking to do here to move our efforts forward with the help of the Boyer Benner Group and what they've been doing for us. We've really come, it's about a year now since we really did the kickoff project. It was mid-March a year ago that we started with our focus group from the entire township, both villages in the town. And here we are getting ready to, I think, move forward with some bits and pieces and parts. All part of we put this almost like a recipe, and all the ingredients, and we're throwing all the ingredients in the pot, and we're gonna have a really nice soup, or.
We need to speak to our chefs. Have you talked to them to see what our timelines are, when we can actually roll that out?
That is, I think they want us to take and approve what is, what's
presented.
well, yes, and then once we give them up okay, they're gonna start moving forward with the next part of this.
Perfect, so hopefully we can do it tonight.
Yes, I believe we're on a trajectory for, sometime in early summer, so if that.
Yeah,
Right, that's, yeah,
it would be nice if it could be late spring, considering that summer video that we want to get out there,
correct,
you know?
correct.
So-
Of course, you know, we can try to advocate for such a timeline. And speaking of the video, that's my last piece of this, we were filming just this weekend. So March 11th, I would say we were filming for good 7.5 hours, but but we got a lot of what we needed for the winter. So a nice different focus from the summer video, different locations, different activities. And we were out on Kings Bay, we were standing on the ice and there was ice fishing, so we managed to get all the things we needed. Even there was a skating show at the Civic Center in Rouse's Point, so it was a really good day. It was sunny all day long, it was great. So I would say we did 95% of the filming we needed to do for the winter video. That is needed at this point for the script that we have put together. We have just a little bit left to do, and then that one will be, as they say, in the can. So it'll be Paul putting that together. So, and as far as I know, everything has been filmed. It's just a matter of some editing and some voiceover. We still have to finalize exactly what statistics and facts we want to go in the business commercial video.
Yeah, send me a list of that, and
Okay.
we'll get to work at finding those numbers
Yes.
out, and,
That one is not, we've already done the
Data.
filming, yes, yes,
So
it's really, it's more data oriented.
Yep.
It's some visual, but it's not the Hollywood productions that the other two are. It's more just, this is what we have to offer, take a look at it with lots of information just voiced over, so.
I would believe the Chamber of Commerce would probably help you out a lot
Yes,
with those numbers, those specifics.
yeah, yes and no, believe it or not, I had to provide numbers, to them for some of the stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Especially the TDC, which they haven't completed that yet either. A lot of it's in there, but they've
Okay.
got more work to do. So I gotta.
I also think that particular video is much easier to edit. So I think if hopefully, if Paul's watching this, I'm not saying something I shouldn't be, but I believe with what has been filmed, if we need to change the voiceover,
Camera football?
that could be changed.
Oh, no.
So-
How long's it been like that?
I just noticed it when he said, I hope Paul's watching, and when I looked over, it was, so I can't tell you how long.
Oh, wow.
So, but the audio's on, so that's.
Our apologies for the technical difficulties. Sorry. Hope Calvin laughs when he sees that.
Well, good to know that the ceilings are intact, right? So I think the voiceover can be changed on that. So if we have information that either needs to be added at a later date or whatever, I believe that can happen. So, anyway. But, so videos are, we're finding ourselves towards the end of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you were kind of put behind the 8 ball when weather didn't cooperate.
Correct.
And it kind of put you about 4 weeks, 5 weeks behind schedule.
Correct.
So,
But we're back on target now.
Yeah, so now he needs to get the last clip before the 21st of March, because we know spring lands then, so.
yeah,
Amazing how that works, yes.
everywhere but the North Country.
Everywhere but here.
A few public service, public announcements. One, the Northeastern Clinton Central School Drama Club is gonna be putting on a production of The Wizard of Oz. That's March 31st through April 2nd at the high school, the Francis Bud Moore Auditorium. I encourage everybody to come out and see that. It's a kickoff for the brand new, I shouldn't say brand new, newly renovated space at the school. So please come out and see that March 31st through the 2nd of April. And I might even actually ask if the information is posted here on the town's website. Be a great
I
thing.
don't see any reason why it can't.
And Sarah has been very busy working on our food truck schedule for 2023, and wouldn't you know, she already has 2 lined up. So, public announcement, our first food truck for the season is going to be on April 26th. So, it's soon, April 26th, and it's gonna be Lightning Lardy's Barbecue. That's the first one out of the gate. And times to follow, so I will update everybody at the next meeting, but that's gonna be on the 26th, and I'm pretty sure it's an evening, I don't believe that's an evening dinner event.
Yeah, probably like 3:40 afternoon.
Yes,
Saturday.
correct, yeah. So put that on your calendars, and the second one is scheduled for May 25th, and that's going to be the Dog Father. So we already have 2 lined up, there are already conversations about the rest of the season, and as soon as we have those locked in with dates and vendors, we will let everybody know. So many thanks to Sarah for doing that. Another announcement from the Rouse's Point Independence Day Stars and Stripes on the Lake Committee. The event, the annual event will be held in Rouse's Point June 30th through July 2nd. That's a weekend full of many activities in the village of Rouse's Point. And this year the theme is Mardi Gras. So floats, admissions into the parade, vendors. We're looking for anybody wanting to participate. We're looking for people to help with food supplies. We're looking for people to be in the parade. We're looking for people to participate in the Children's Day events. There's a lot going on. And if you need to contact, please look for the Rouse's Point Stars and Stripes on the Lake, their Facebook page. So their Facebook page is the best way to reach out to them. That's where they do most of their communications. So
And isn't there a fundraiser coming up to support that?
that is correct. I believe they're doing a comedy
I
night.
believe they are.
Yes. So I don't have that actually.
But I'm sure you can get it off the Facebook page.
Yes, if you go to the Rouse's Point Independence Day Stars and Stripes on the Lake, their Facebook page has everything, dates, applications for people that want to be vendors or participate in the parade, their fundraising events, and again, the theme this year is Mardi Gras. And finally, if you have anything that you would like advertised through the town, please let Sarah know so we can put it on our social media and let people know about your event. So ends the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bory. Looking forward to that play. Can tickets be bought in advance?
That's a good point. We've never had a need for it, so we still have at the door right now. But no, we will not have any advance sales.
Okay. Report from the town clerk.
You just have, my monthly report that needs
I'll
approval.
make a motion that we approve the town clerk's monthly report for February 1st through February 28th. Total local shares, $272.88. Total non-revenue, local revenue, $60.12.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, report is approved. All right, thank you. Okay, review of, thank you very much, Julie. Review of post-audit bills, the abstract. Anybody have any questions in regards to this?
I have no question on the abstract, but on the bills, I have a couple questions, I guess.
Okay, so let's move on to approval of the monthly bills. Can I get a motion and a second, and we'll discuss any questions within?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Discussion, what questions do you have, Mr. Hunter?
Is that typically the timeline with election payback for 2022? It comes, this far behind. I'm just trying to kind of, that's a large amount that we end
Yeah, I
up
saw
sending out
that.
to Clinton County.
What page is that?
It's in the amount of $18,890.26. Large numbers catch my eye.
Yeah, which page is it on the?
Uh,
First page?
Page one.
Yeah, it's on the first page.
Third down.
Yep, got it. I believe so, Rick, but I can confirm that if you'd like. We could call Sarah and ask that question.
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of interested in terms of how that particular amount is arrived at.
Okay, she did tell me to call if there's any questions. Is there anything else? Because I found a few things that
I do have a couple others.
Okay.
Water system for the office, what was that was?
that was the sanitization system, the purification system, I should say. So it's the,
We don't have to boil water anymore.
that's correct. Remember we were under
For the
boil
last
water?
8 months or so, we had boil water, it wasn't potable, so
Okay.
we find, the system is finally. new
Yeah,
system.
we approved this new purchase, probably
5 months ago?
6 months
I
ago.
was gonna say,
Long time ago, it just took a long
Right.
time to get it scheduled.
okay.
Here's that bill from the election.
Yeah,
You wanna look
I
at
wanted
that?
to see that, thank you. And the legal amount that we paid out contractually, in the amount of $2,250, can get a summary in terms of what that includes, please?
That was simply a review of all the documents that we've done over.
Okay, so was it to our zoning attorney, or was it just strictly to the town council's appointed attorney per our January appointments?
I believe it was strictly to town. What, can you give me the line number on that one? So I can look at it again?
I have to find it,
Oh, top of page 3,
I believe it was just to our.
It is.
top of page 3.
First one, yeah. Because it says Stafford Owens, that's why I'm,
Yeah, that's all zoning stuff.
That's all zoning, that's why I wanted to see it. I wanted to
Okay.
confirm it. So no, this is all zoning, so this dollar amount, and correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, but I believe it was all solar projects.
It'll probably be getting back, we'll probably get it back.
It'll be coming back out of the escrows, so it'll be moved back out of each designated escrow account for each solar project.
okay.
So, again, we can question how that is being presented.
And then the only other question I have is, I guess there's the wing hinge that had to be replaced on one of the plows, I guess, is that what that was?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the last one was, there's one on there for the bush in the amount of $1,720.80. Let me see if I can find that.
That's on page 4.
Yeah, I think so.
The brushes,
Yeah, the brushes. So what are those? Can you give me an idea what those are?
Again, that's highway. And I am assuming that it is for the sweeper. I can question that. Do you want me to call Sarah so we get answers on those, or?
Well, I just was curious, sometimes when you see things and you don't know what they pertain to, I just would like to kind of,
Yeah,
when people ask questions, I can, answer their questions.
I believe it was for the sweeper.
so that is all zoning,
That is all zoning.
yes, those,
And what period of time does that cover?
January. Mostly January, there's some from, no, that's not Republican. I think it's just January meeting
Okay.
for planning, zoning and talking. He had a call from Aaron Ovius.
So, but it's primarily January?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. And I'll talk to Sarah. I'm just curious in terms of what we spent total last year on legal, so.
Total last year, if I remember right, was under 2,000.
Yeah,
I want to
Yeah.
say it was like 16 or 1,700.
it's always solar applications.
But that, yeah, this one.
Most- yeah,
This one
yeah.
appears to be, because you got three
four in the hopper.
Yeah,
But-
but this
but
is all getting reimbursed back to the town.
Correct, correct,
From the escrow accounts.
correct.
As far as the town attorney, it was somewhere in the area of $1,600 last year total for all the reviews of documents that I sent them, et cetera.
Okay.
It was really all review.
Yeah, and that's what you have a lawyer for.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, really.
absolutely, you should use them,
Yep.
so. Okay, that's it, that's
Do-
all my
do you want-
questions on the bills.
Do you want this called on, the 1720, or?
We can find out when I talk to her next time,
Okay.
it's fine, we don't need
Uh,
to bother her, let her enjoy her
Pretty sure
night.
it's sweeper, I'll put a question here.
I'm looking for the bill, so it probably says it here.
It would, great. And that, the $400 on page 1 for the banners, for Hometown Hero banners, that's a deposit.
Mhm.
Yes, I didn't mention that in the report, but we did approve all the new applications and everything's been ordered. All of the, if I remember right, I believe everybody that ordered a banner checked the proof and either made a correction or signed off on them. So yes, and the payment, it was slightly up a little bit this year. There was, if you order less than 10 banners at a time, there was an additional fee you had to pay.
It says it's a combination.
So that was,
week.
that was new this year, but it was
It's-
minimal, but
it's,
it was unknown to us at the
It's a
time.
sweeper, I'm sure.
Because we probably would have pushed a little harder to make sure we had Deb, but we know that
So-
now.
So it's 144 10 by 32 combination wafer, which is $11.95 per
Mhm.
each, so.
It's a sweeper, I remember we.
Well, I figured it was, I mean, I saw it came out of the highway department, but I was just curious in terms of,
And I believe we questioned the same thing last year, at this same time of year.
You wanna see it?
I don't remember questioning it last year, but
Yeah.
I just am curious
Because
as
I
far
don't
as
think
like
it
how
was-
often you replace them and,
If I remember correctly, last year it was listed as wafers instead of brushes, and we really questioned it.
so Mid-State out of Malone is a
Yes.
supplier for that. In question to anybody in the public that was wondering when I asked the question in regards to the 2022 election payback, this was for payment for 17 different poll workers along with appropriation for early voting costs, so, thank you.
And that right there is why we try to avoid special elections,
Correct.
because it's costly.
Thanks for carrying that, Judy. Make it easy.
Yeah, thanks. Any other discussion?
That's all I have.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Bory? Councilmember Moore?
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter?
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley?
Aye. Okay, so you get your report from the code officer. Do you have any questions? I may or may not be able to answer them, but if I can't, I will see that we get them to you.
I do have some. I don't know if anybody else, if somebody wants to go first. Who's the new sanitarian that Chris is referencing here on the 7th bulleted item? There's evidently a new sanitarian. So is that person employed by the Department of Health?
I'm assuming that's what he's referring to. I'm still trying to, 1, 2, 3.
7th, it says, spoke to the health department regarding violations for,
Yes, that's exactly what that means. That's a term I hadn't really heard before, but yes, that must be her title.
okay. So was it the Department of Health that kind of didn't notify the town? Is that what this is? Okay.
Yeah, we met with them. I think what he's referring to is we actually met with Department of Health with this new employee as well
Okay,
in the meeting.
all right.
And, you know, those violations for the samples we were told were nothing. But
Okay,
so it was a little bit of miscommunication, we'll say. But it's been taken care of. The samples have now been done. We're in compliance.
right.
That's what he's trying to allude to. At that time, we were told we were fine.
Okay.
See, basically, we're under a boil water order.
Right.
I'm trying to really lay this out, because I'm remembering the conversation now. And because we're under a boil water order, Chris had asked if we had to take those samples, and I'm like, no, it's unnecessary, you're not using the water. Well, it was still necessary. That's really the gist of it. So they should have been done regardless. So like Brian said, we were under boil water for like 8
Yeah,
months.
yeah, it was
Right.
a long time.
I noticed they noted it was a down system,
Correct.
so. That's all I had.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, you have your Champlain monthly dog report. And it's not, it's seen worse.
Yeah.
It's seen worse, it's not too bad.
Of course, February is a short month, right?
There you
Yeah.
go, that is true.
Yeah.
So one was the wellness
Too cold for
report.
anybody to be out.
Unless you have
One was
moofies.
straight out.
That's right.
Moofies wanna be out there.
Okay. A report from the highway superintendent. Under correspondence, you have your planning board minutes. And you have 2 different meetings, one on February 2nd, one on March 2nd. If you have any questions, stop me. And you have the zoning board minutes, which Councilmember Bory spoke of before, that was on the February 16th meeting. Then you have the EMS report.
They're up about 25 cars over the previous month.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a total of 142 calls, 7 mutual aid. And, yeah, for the year, total of 4,406 loaded miles. Yeah. They are busy.
Their response times,
It's amazing.
I just.
Well, I think they have some that are there at the department all the time, I think, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
Yeah, but I
They
mean,
do it
it's
all the
like,
time.
I
So-
mean, to get, you
Correct,
know, it's not a big area,
But to come up with a 2-minute average,
right.
I mean, that's, you get the
you
call.
would have to assume the ones that are on the far reaches are probably,
Longer.
Going
Much
to site
longer.
or,
but it
Yeah.
also tells you the ones that are close by are probably within a
Yeah.
minute.
that might be a question we can ask EMS when.
And I believe this response time, we probably should ask for clarification, but I believe it's from the time they roll.
I think it is also,
Yeah.
time you're in the ambulance and it's in motion, yeah.
Yep.
That's still, I mean,
It's still amazing.
yeah.
So, thank you, you do a great job. They are appreciated. JCO report. Okay, any questions?
Nope.
Charter communications notification. Complete Streets for All. This is provided this to you if anybody's able to join virtually.
I'm gonna try and.
Yeah, it's at a bad time because of my schedule right now, but.
Yeah, but I mean, we had that program before, you know, they helped us out a lot.
Mhm.
The disc golf and the,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Correct.
the rec trail.
correct.
And they were very, very easy to work with and
Yes.
everything, so, I mean, if I have internet, I will attend.
Come here and use ours if you can.
It may come to that.
Well, you're more than welcome. But yeah, if anybody, if you can do that, Brian, I appreciate it. If anybody else wants to join in, I'd appreciate that as well. Clinton County Treasurer regarding postage for billing changes. As you can see, that'll be starting in 2024. So that will affect us. And Office of the Supervisor override for local zoning laws. I don't imagine any of you wanna go down to support that, but it came to this office and I guess I can go out and state that I don't think it's right that the state plans on building 800,000 homes statewide. I think that's needed. I think that's very worthy that they're trying to do this. But to override all local zoning laws to try to accomplish a
Yes.
faster timeline, I do not agree with. I will go on record stating that. I do not agree with that.
Well, it really doesn't make sense. I'm not getting a grant to build a home. I have to follow the zoning laws. The developer gets the grant to build those homes, they don't have to follow the zoning laws. It just
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
No, and you can't paint a broad brush like that across the state, because all these communities have different zoning laws for a reason.
Yeah,
Because
well,
we're all unique.
we're updating ours, you know, I mean, constantly now, things change.
Yeah.
And it would be good that we had a say in what goes on in our own town.
Yeah,
We recognize the need, we just don't like the
the means,
procedure that she's putting in place.
exactly. Agreed.
So, do
So
you want
anyway.
to send a resolution?
Should we respond
I'm
to
wondering if
this?
we
Yeah.
ought to create a resolution to send to Governor Hochul's office
Okay.
and voice our discernment.
And here it is, we're starting to update our zoning and
Right.
everything, and
Yes.
it's pointless. Somebody just says, I'm gonna build with state funding, and, we don't have to follow your laws anyway. Yep. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it's not, they will not understand what it is for each community to have to do what they need to do. So they, to be able to just say, well, we're just gonna override it, it's there for a purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we'll try to do that for next month then. And we'll copy the town of Hempstead.
Can we, do this now? The reason I say is, in theory,
You wanna do it before the 20th?
the budget is April first, state budget. You know, they don't always hit that date,
Right.
but, if we send it after, by the time we have our next meeting,
Be
and,
too late.
It'd be too late, so you wanna get together, have a special meeting to approve that resolution, or?
just a generic resolution.
I think if you put a generic resolution and put it in an email, I think you could probably receive approval through that process.
Yeah, I think it's something we need to.
I agree.
I really do, and it's not always on April first, it's supposed to be, but.
So if we do that by email, and you could include that in the minutes of the next meeting, we could put it on the agenda just to speak of it, of the results of that vote, would that be legal?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
I mean,
recommending?
Do we need a motion to create said resolution? or-
Yeah, I think we should. Let me do that. So, yeah, I welcome the motion to create a resolution in regards to Governor Hochul's plan. Is there a name for that plan?
She just calls it a proposal.
Yeah, the
It will allow
proposal,
the state government to override the authority of local zoning laws.
correct,
So,
in order to achieve their target housing goals.
correct.
So, did you?
New York
Motion
Housing
down?
Compact, this looks like it's what it says, as is referred to by the governor.
New York Housing Compact, thank you, that's what I was looking for.
And maybe carbon copy the author of the letter.
I would, yeah, definitely.
So
I'm
you
curious.
make a motion?
I'll make that motion, yes, if you were able to put that together.
No.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any further discussion needed? Motion carries. Okay, I'll get that done within the week. Put that as a higher priority here. New business, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation regarding Town of Champlain Sewer District 7. I'm not sure why I don't have that in order, but it's here somewhere. Did you guys get a chance to read that?
Yeah,
I'm missing it for some reason. But anyways, we did not make the grade. I've been meaning to call Barton and Judas to see if they've been notified yet or not, and I did not have time this week. So I will put that in the to-do list as well. I want to see what they have to say about that. I don't know how, I'm sure that's a large impact on us. I don't know what other grant we're waiting on.
it says they can give us information if we ask before March 22nd on why we were denied. That might help for the future. Yeah, I believe we were interested in other rounds that
Yes.
this didn't come to. So we really would either Barton or Judas, well, probably not, they would charge us, I don't know. If we could just email them, that's what they,
Just reply
yeah,
to the funding agency.
yeah, they've got a website.
Yep, so we'll do both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't talk my user agreement either. Rick, do you okay with you?
I do.
Do you still have questions on that, or did I answer them well enough?
I think it's, I'm trying to recall, why in that first paragraph that it cites all municipal, corporations of the state of New York is included in this.
Yep, I think that's one of the sentences that Matt added.
It is?
Yep.
So I guess I'd like rationale as to why we need, because this is primarily between the town and the two villages, not all municipal corporations of the state of New York, so I'm wondering why that's in there, so. And then the only other thing as I responded to your email, Tom, was in regards to, the term of the agreement and the period that it covers, so.
Which,
You see what I'm saying though, right?
yeah, I do.
Because if it begins in March,
I know, I
it
thought
has to
that,
end in March of '26. I think if you changed, if that language was changed to just indicate the calendar years of 2023, 2024, and 2025, then I think it is the umbrella for that youth recreation program for those years.
yeah, and that's what it's intended to be.
Correct, that's what I thought.
But we can add that verbiage of calendar years so that it's,
Do you want a copy of mine to
yep,
make
please,
right on,
please.
and then,
If I-
once we get to whatever,
Sorry.
so. Yeah, I don't understand why it has to have all municipal corporations. I mean, think about it, that's like
It was in the last.
people outside of the town of Champlain.
Yeah, it was in the last 5 agreements, so got put in this agreement.
I think so. but
You know what I mean?
I'm
It's-
sure there's rationale, I just, as a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer and I don't understand what that entails.
Mhm.
You know, unless it has to do with the funding and I don't know, so, maybe.
Possible.
And I'm not willing to pay legal fees to get an answer, to be honest with
So
you,
the
to some degree.
The term of this agreement shall be for a period of 3 calendar years. Commencing, that should work.
Yeah,
It's just that we're late. You know, it should have been done in January, that's all. But at the time, I'm looking for this.
Did I have anything else in my email to you? I think it was just the two
No, I
things.
think the other question was whether or not our attorney had looked at it.
Oh, yes, and you had responded, yes.
Okay. Next are the mission statement and stationery by BBG. We need to choose which one we want to give the green light to. wanna start with the mission and vision? I think the stationery is pretty self-explanatory. Just similar, but just the verbiage is a little different between each one, right?
For the vision, what are the difference between
There
those?
isn't any,
Okay.
that I could see when I looked through it. I think it's the same.
It
So-
is, it
So
is,
it's one vision
One
that we're
vision.
approving or not approving,
right, and then
and then it's the two
the
missions.
mission statement itself is just worded different, so I'm gonna read it out, folks on camera can hear it this way. One is to help develop community and work hard to foster economic growth. And the other one is help foster community and work hard to develop economic growth. Two different spins. I think the second version is.
Did the committee come up with these missions,
No.
or was it recommended by Boyer Benner?
Yes, based
It
on,
was.
based on all of our input. You know, that little project that we did,
Yes.
that's really what most of that was for. So they took of all of our takeaways on what we envision the town to be. This is what they came up with. You have any thoughts? Councilmember Bory?
Well, I personally, like what you said, you know, the placement of the word foster and develop.
Mm-hmm.
I like fostering
Community.
connected to community more than I like it with economic growth.
Same
We
here.
often think development with
Mhm.
economic, business, whatever, right?
I agree.
I do too, that's why I like it more. To me,
Okay.
you foster community, you work for development. I guess that's what my thoughts were as well.
Does the word hard have to be in
Yeah,
there?
the work hard really throws me.
It
I'm
does,
sorry,
throws
but
me.
it just kind of jumps off the page at me as, there must be a substitute
Or, I mean,
that in fact can
we always would work
carry
on
a
it.
similar,
Yeah.
correct, I mean, we would assume that we would always.
It's a
So,
given.
but other than the work hard, I'm very happy with the help foster community.
Can we just have it work to develop economic?
So what I'll do is I will,
That's what I would say.
I will do a little
Mhm.
thesaurus plan, come up with a better term for work hard, and I will send them an email getting their thoughts on changing that wording, and when it comes back, then we'll share it with
Or even just to take the.
Right.
The
word hard out.
Yeah,
work.
just to say work to
work-
develop economic
yeah.
growth, and then
Get rid
it's,
of hard.
it's concise, it's, yeah.
Yeah,
And I like the idea of fostering community, and we're here to, you know, work to develop economic growth, that is our mission.
yeah.
I like it too. Do you agree, Jason?
Yeah. If you're not looking, yeah, if we're not looking for another adjective or
Correct.
some kind of, you know,
Well, it's just.
because you
it's
could
a
use the word
given.
strategically, or, you know, you could throw in,
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I was thinking,
You
get
could
the word
come,
work
you
out of
know.
there too, and change it to a different word, but if you like that because it's concise, I'm good with it too.
Mhm.
I think it's
that-
something everybody can understand.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something where we're putting words in where, because some people might not understand what
Well, if you-
strategic planning is. Strategic planning typically in managerial terms is something where you're talking 7 years and out, so,
Yeah, well, we are doing that with comp plan too.
right.
But no, if you think about how we came up with the logo, we kept it simple.
Right.
It's simple and concise is noticeable, so I agree, let's just take that word out.
And the colors, if I recall, are gonna be the blue, right? So that would all be a
Yeah,
blue.
Tom, what does it look like?
Yeah.
from what
You
you've
have,
got?
can
You've
you
got the
hold
color.
your copy up just so
Oh, yours aren't
maybe they
color.
can?
I am
No,
color.
ours is just, yeah, see, I like that, that's,
That looks good.
and then the star itself at the bottom, I think it's a, yeah.
Yeah, if you notice at the bottom, they've got the other colors blended.
Exactly,
It's,
Mhm.
yeah.
I love it, I think that's the whole piece, you know, the two villages.
And it stands out better with the Champlain on the color than it does in the black and white.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, nicely done.
True. Okay, so we will reply accordingly.
Are we gonna address the business cards and the,
Yeah, we'll do that, and then,
Okay.
I don't think we need a motion to approve that, do we? There's no, treasurer's office. Graham, gentlemen, we don't need a motion to choose that, do we? I don't
I
see a
don't
reason
think
to.
we do, I mean,
Nope. Okay, then, it comes to the stationery. I love the business cards.
yeah, nicely done.
I think they are awesome. The letterhead, I don't see anything wrong with it. The envelopes, there and I had a discussion about that our costs would literally triple if we had to redo them all right away, but we can talk about that.
What are they looking at
As
for
we-
projected cost?
She didn't give me a number. We'll have to get into those details after.
So we're not choosing from these, so for example, like, as I look at like going from left to right, I'm assuming that on the left with the logo Champlain underneath, the town with 2 villages, and then down below, as we move down, at the bottom of the letterhead, it would actually have the P.O. Box 3144 Champlain, I don't know, help me understand how this is that what it is?
That's what they're suggesting, yes.
I like that, I think that's nice, I
Yeah.
think that's sharp.
It is.
That is, it's just
Yeah.
clean.
And I think it's, I know we keep saying simple, but it looks like it's gonna stand the test of time.
Yeah.
But you might go back and look at this 25 from years ago, wow, it still looks really good,
That's
you know,
right.
it's gonna,
Well, let's hope, yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't have to redo it 10 years down the road, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I do think it's modern and will stand the test of time.
Yep.
But I think our main objective here is to give them the green light that that's what we wanna go with, we like the
Can you hold that
concept.
up for us, please, Tom? Just so we can,
Again, you don't have color, do you?
you know,
yeah, I just, I like it, it's just, yeah, very nice.
should we have the address anywhere on the envelope or the letterhead?
Well, on the letterhead, we have it at the bottom of the page. It's on the envelope as well.
No. I don't
Well, it
see
has a P.O. Box.
P.O. box.
It has a mailing,
Which,
but it doesn't have the,
Oh, you want the street address?
well,
The location?
that's kind of, you know, something that when I get a return address, I mean, when I get an envelope, usually the return address is the physical address.
Yeah, we
I
do.
mean, it does make sense, especially if the guy's gotta go, you know, if somebody has to pay a bill or something, they wanna do it in person, and you can get those people.
Okay, we'll add the street address above the P.O. box, probably, or let them decide how they wanna squeeze it
Yeah, I'm
in.
trying to remember
I'll let
how,
them decide, I think that's what they specialize in.
And you want it on the letterhead as well?
it should be,
Okay,
I mean-
not just the envelopes.
right.
on the business card, don't you?
It is,
Yep.
yes, I noticed that.
Mhm. So, yeah, it should be the same. So, yeah, I mean, I understand Sarah's concern, but we don't have to phase this in all at one time.
Right.
You know, we
Yeah.
could, I think business cards would be very important to get done first. And then, of course, the letterhead, I'm assuming they will provide these templates to us so we can use them ourselves, right? You know, 'cause we don't go out and have all our stationery done, we print them off ourselves.
Yeah,
So it's just the envelopes, we'll have to talk to her.
and has she checked to see if maybe going through CVS might be cheaper for the printing? I don't know.
Well, she goes to the county right now.
She does.
It's very cheap.
Okay.
You know, we started that recently and because it was less than half the cost.
Have we ever done anything with CVS?
No,
Okay.
no, it's always been local. So
Okay.
we'll have to talk about that in detail.
Okay.
I'll have to get numbers as we move forward. I mean, we've got a large supply we need to go through first.
Do you have an idea in terms of what the supply you go through in a year of letterhead and envelopes?
No, I can find out, I can tell you it's mostly court.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it's mostly court.
It'd be a good place to use the older, less colorful envelopes when you're getting your.
Yeah, because I just,
It's not a bad idea.
Greetings from the justice. Send a check for several dollars and,
It's not a bad idea.
We're
We'd
sorry
like to
about
use
the
up
surcharge.
supply.
yeah.
I'll talk to her more about it, and
All right.
we'll get numbers to go
All
over.
right.
But
So what are you doing? You're just gonna have one set of envelopes for every department? Cause now we have like zoning, planning, code, town clerk. So you're only gonna have one envelope for where, no matter what department it comes out of?
well,
that would be cheaper.
Is that what you're?
It would be.
It would be cheaper, and then as long as the letter is, you know, properly identified by the sender, you know,
So-
zoning department or whatever.
So I hadn't thought of that, so like in your billing, for example, it states it's from the clerk.
Yeah, when I
On the
send stuff
letterhead?
out, yeah, it comes from me, town clerk, and I have my own envelopes that say tax collector, town clerk, tax collector on them. And then same with zoning, planning, code. They're all separate. They're all separate.
So is that something I should provide for them?
I mean, you can open it up, and I think, and see what they say, but.
So.
Well,
That's the
Re-
logo.
yeah, well,
Right.
recently
I
though,
think she's referring to the envelopes.
well, that too, the envelopes too we have, but we haven't placed an order recently, like, we ran out of letterhead for planning and zoning, so we did up our own.
Mhm.
So
Right.
if
Because we ran out and,
So if we can get at, which I think we will, like technically we own this, right? We
Yep.
paid for it. So if we get access to the versions that can be just put in, or they send templates that, yes, I would say probably it just gets transferred over and then it's the logo and whatever, but then it's the proper department it's coming from and whatever address and.
In the letterhead, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of the envelopes, I don't know.
I don't think matters, and people get an envelope, I think they just throw it away. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it says zoning or planning on it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to not detract from that, the top portion of the correspondence.
Do you want me to follow up with them on that, just to see what
Yeah.
what they said?
Are you gonna reply then on which mission statement we chose as well, and that one change we asked for? Yeah, if you could do that soon, that'd be great, please. Maybe one less thing I gotta do with it. Thank you. I don't think it's a problem, Julie, I'm sure we can work that out.
No, I was just, I mean, I don't personally think it's a big deal, I just was wondering if that's the route you were going. It was just gonna be one, and that's it, and it comes from any department. And like
Well-
you said, whoever signs it,
When they sign it, they usually would have the individual's name, and underneath, it's the actual department as it relates. So this way, you've got correspondence that you're paying for that is being used by everybody within inside of the town, and it just makes it easier, I think. But-
Yeah, like when you create your template using this envelope, we'll put
I gotta take a
town
picture.
clerk, et cetera, or zoning or
I forgot
planning
my phone.
Do you want to take?
on the letterhead, and then that'll be saved. The only thing I'm questioning is, you know, the envelopes, if we're to create envelopes for every department. I don't know if that's necessary or not.
well, I know when I first started here, we had envelopes for every department. But we haven't ordered in a while envelopes for every department, so we're using, like when I send something out that's coming from the zoning and the planning, we have a lot of envelopes that have zoning officer on them. So I'm using those up, because, I mean, why let them go to waste? So I'm just using the envelopes up that say zoning officer, because we have no more zoning or planning ones left. They say zoning officer on them, but we had one for, we had code officer, zoning officer, planning, zoning board.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary or not. We have to talk to Sarah and come up with a consensus, and I would think one standard is fine. I guess, I don't know. They open it up and find out what's in it.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll take care of that. Thank you very much, Jason.
And the last part, did we do the vision?
And you're gonna also have them add the street address.
There's only the one,
Like they did with
so-
the
No,
business
there's
card.
mission.
For both of
There's
those
only,
templates,
but there's
right?
only one, so there's no need to,
I'm confused.
so these
Oh, I see.
particular
Yes.
visions are the same,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I couldn't
and
find
if
it.
everybody's happy with it. so.
Yep.
Okay, so
I
that's what
got
we'll do
extra
with
copies
that.
of all this.
We'll,
Yeah.
It confused me.
I'll see if we can get more details on the cost of moving forward and how we wanna do it for, maybe for next month. Or we'll throw an email and go from there. Now I need to, do a transfer, so I make a motion to transfer $35,704.77 from the ARPA funds, also known as COVID funds, number A203 to SS 200 for the Bois Road lift station.
I make a motion that we approve as you stated.
Okay, so that'll be our second. Thank you. Any discussion on that? I'd like to add that they are not completed, so the bill will be paid when they're done. They came up, they did all the plumbing on it last week. They did not bring the electronics. So they returned today and determined that the weather was too poor, so they went back home. So, we are gonna wait for another scheduled date. It could be another month before we get the new operating panel put in the heater.
And they're not getting paid till then.
Correct.
It behooves them
To get it done.
to get it done.
I can't believe they came all the way up here to determine the weather was too poor.
Yeah.
So anyways, I
Law
did-
Road.
Roll call in this, please?
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Okay, old business, we start with the dog law.
Is it possible to possibly go out of regular session, give everybody an opportunity to read the dog law? It's only a page and a half, and then maybe discuss it and maybe get this off the docket. Just my thought,
Yeah, I'd like
because
to.
it's been on the docket for a long time.
Yeah, it needs to come off the docket along with the noise ordinance, and then we're gonna need to, present it
Correct.
under resolution next
Right.
month, and then public
Well,
hearing
Yeah, it's
following.
gonna be local law and all that.
Correct, but you gotta at least have approval to move forward with it. So,
Has anybody else had time to read it?
not the dog law, I'm more concerned about the noise ordinance, which is a page and a half. That, I think we could kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
In front and back,
and
we.
both Councilman Moore and I have looked it over, and we feel it meets the needs of the town.
Right, but I thought this was.
Oh,
I'm talking about noise, just the noise. And then the dog, I think you're gonna need some time to read through that.
yeah, so maybe we could set a public hearing at next month's meeting for the noise ordinance.
Right.
And again, if we have questions, you can have a public hearing,
Correct.
doesn't mean you have to act on it that night. But, you know,
Okay,
as long as
well,
we
let's-
don't make substantial changes to it,
Okay,
we're
so
good
let's,
to wait until Rick's back.
in regards to the one I brought up, the dog law, so let's say that we're going to shoot for presenting this next month. So we need to get any changes back to Rick between now and then,
And remember, I'm gone
Yep.
this week,
okay?
so.
Then, and you don't have any issues with it?
I mean, I can go through it a fifth time.
Yeah, that's what I mean, so you're completed with it.
I think it took what I originally proposed to you in my October email,
Mhm.
and when you sat down with Jody Perrier, dog control officer, and made recommendations and changes, these reflect that.
That's correct.
This document reflects all that.
That's correct. So, do you wanna, since you're gonna be gone, do you wanna email the electronic copy to me?
Mhm.
Actually, I'll need it anyways.
I'll mail it to everybody.
And then we will correspond, you can check your email once in a
Correct.
while, see if you agree with the changes we're asking, and I can
Okay.
make them if you want.
Okay,
But I'm just thinking we can move forward with it by, it's gonna be minor editorial stuff. I mean, I've read through it, nothing stood out to me right away. So we should be able to do an approval at next month and present it.
right. And do we have to hold a public hearing prior to submitting this to our attorney just for approval first? Okay.
We should get it to him.
I think so.
After we are done tweaking
Oh, we're
it,
talking about the
Correct.
dogs.
That's what I mean,
So,
after
okay,
we're
so
done
I was
tweaking.
looking at the noise.
yes, then I will send it off to him in the meantime. But I think we need to try to shoot for next month. We can't keep kicking the can down the road. I mean, I know we've been busy. It's not that we're kicking the can, we've just had too many other things going on.
Hmm.
So, that's our homework as well. Get our editorial notes via email to me and Rick, and we will make changes if necessary and then send it off to legal.
And so where are we on the noise ordinance?
That's up next, the noise ordinance, okay. So are you suggesting we close the meeting just long enough to read this through?
Well, we'll give at least you and Jason a chance to read through it, and then we can kind of put this one to,
And in the same timeline,
correct?
correct?
We have a public hearing next meeting.
I think we can
Mhm.
take care of it the same way, because Chris is gonna need to review this as well. So let's handle it the same way, let's go through a review process
Okay,
in the next few weeks.
okay,
Make any necessary changes. We need the code officer to approve,
Correct.
write it, and get his approval,
yep,
and send it off to legal. And I will work on the resolutions, and if we're all in order by the next meeting, we'll
Mhm.
present it.
okay.
And it goes into the aging process, you do a public hearing.
Yep.
And if there's no changes.
So we could have the public hearing in May for him.
Correct, yep. Does that sound good? Then water code. We need to, that was brought up during Councilmember Borey's report. So, we'll have to get our calendars after, we can just schedule another, committee meeting to make sure we've got the permits and the schedule of charges in order. We can also start working towards revisions in the code, because there are a few needed.
Yes, we've already highlighted
Yeah.
stuff like with hydrants and this, yes.
Right. So we will start reading that revision, so we can strive to do the same thing, and that, we can shoot for probably the following month or something. Try to get that in place, because at least we know now through legal counsel that what's in the code now supports us not having to pay for the whole thing, okay?
Yes.
It supports what we're trying to do. I think it should have been, could be worded better, so we'll work on my revision as well.
What we've already started.
Well, we already started, exactly. And then there's the policy for credit cards. We talked about this last month. Did we do any work towards that at all? I provided some examples from several towns.
I have not,
I have not either.
so I can't,
That's- you
I
say
can't
that, I-
offer any suggestions,
Okay.
and before that.
Okay, so if we can continue working towards that, because Sarah and I are trying to finalize the employee handbook, and it will reference a credit card policy, but we need to create it and get it logged in.
So it's a policy, it's not a local law in regards to this, okay?
He gave us.
Like for, they, well,
There
they're,
was several.
I don't think I have it.
Yeah, I got a copy in my file, but
I do somewhere.
in several towns.
So review that, and we need to extract the stuff that we want.
Correct.
Okay.
Like one of them, I remember one township had a gasoline credit card section in their policy, and we need to create that for Wex Bank, because we use Wex Bank.
Okay.
So yeah, if we work on that, we'll try to get that done in the next couple of months. Okay, that's all I have. Does anybody else have any business to put?
Just wondering if we could put a date by when we should have these edits. To Rick.
I would guess if, I'm saying a week to 10 days, something like that, because it's gotta go to the lawyer, once it, if
Yeah.
if there's any changes and
Yep,
Yeah, so,
edits.
so it's 14th, you wanna do by the 24th? Or do you want it sooner? If you can do the 21st, 22nd, which would be a week? I mean, it's just reading through and just,
Yeah, I just want to just put something
And then
down,
I
so
gotta-
I give myself
The
a. I know I
24th
got
seems
something
good,
done.
that's, tomorrow's the 15th, so that gives us nine days.
in our
Did you
April.
say the 21st?
24th,
24th?
yeah,
This is a
tomorrow's the
Friday,
tomorrow's the 15th, I mean, we're not
That
gonna do anything
is a
tonight.
Friday, that's correct.
it's a Friday,
So probably, I mean, I just arbitrarily figuring that
here's
out.
10
but-
days.
All right,
Yeah,
let's good.
Okay,
Put this to rest.
I agree.
you may have to go back and forth a little bit if
Right.
council says we have to
Correct.
do this, or someone else says, well, I found out this isn't the way they do it in the other areas, it gives us a little time, then we can redo it, and then. send
That's
it
why,
back.
that's why I like the idea of the way Councilperson Lori does with the Google shared doc. So it allows each person to go in and make their necessary recommendations, so it's not a
Some of us.
20 emails back and forth.
Some of us.
So,
I tried opening, I couldn't open it, so it's not just you.
I just,
Site video.
I could open.
In my computer
would open.
updates
So Rick, this isn't
automatically.
getting approved yet until,
I don't know
project
why.
is
I
done,
haven't had
right?
time to-
That's correct.
Okay.
Chris and I talked about that, and I just felt it's better to wait till they've been given the green light, because they have a few things they still have to attend to. But, and that's why I put in March, because I don't know when it's gonna be. But it'll be sometime in
I
March.
don't know why.
I can't imagine it's gonna go beyond March.
well, the question for me is, we've already billed out for the year,
Correct.
so is this gonna be in effect for next year, or are we gonna send them a new bill?
No, we have to, because we're not even through we're only through in the first quarter of the year, so I think we have to bill them. I think the question is how,
We talked about this before, because we're on an annual billing cycle now, when we talked about having a set time when these changes would be taking place.
well, here's my question, is that it's no longer owned by the former party. We billed them, correct?
Yeah, we billed them.
And now it's gonna be fully in the hands of this business, this new business. So,
But they've
that's
already
three,
been
that's
billed.
Well, they've
3/4
already
of a
been billed
year
for the first-
of
for the
EDUs
year.
that you could be receiving.
But they've already been billed for the whole year.
I know that. For the, right?
So if you're to, let's say we're already in 24, you'd have no way of changing that.
Yeah, there's no way to prorate and give money back to the former owner of that property, I agree. But they're the ones that paid the half EDU on the,
I mean, I guess, yeah.
so now,
Do it
we've got this
internally
business.
somehow.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's something we have to determine as far as like where you are in the year. And I understand the approval of the EDUs each year annually. But what happens when these new residents come in? What do we do? Like, you know, when you had somebody move in off of the Dubois Road, wasn't there somebody that moved in off the Dubois Road like in January or something? I thought there was, but what do you do for those people when they're new? So do you wait till the following year? You don't charge them any EDUs at all?
Well, you're not gonna be able to if it's already on their tax bill.
So if
You're
it's
not
al-
gonna- once
so if
it's on the
al-
tax
So
bill-
if it's already in the
Tax
tax
bill,
bill,
you're-
at closing, wouldn't they have to,
You're gonna have to make
To
your
pay out?
changes, like, well, I'd say, make your changes, but you don't know if there's something new that comes up throughout the year. So it's gonna have to wait until the following year before it can get changed, once
So
it's on the tax
So
bill.
you're gonna be receiving revenue a year later. So are they paying for the back year also? I don't know.
That I don't
There's
know.
something
I don't
that
know.
doesn't-
you're not paying for a year later, you're paying.
Say right now, we got a vacant lot,
Correct.
okay? But that vacant lot doesn't get billed until December of this year. We've already sent our levies to the county for January,
Right,
so there's no way of changing that tax bill until the following year.
correct. Correct, but that's different. So you're saying if somebody had a vacant lot and they built a house, and then the EDU assignment
Yeah,
changes?
it changes,
They'll change for the following year.
yeah, that's the only way we can do
So
it.
you're a year behind.
Right, but
Yeah.
in the case.
So
that-
you do get the revenue a year after.
Yeah, you're gonna have to eat that change, it wasn't at that time of building. But in regards to somebody purchasing the property, I would assume, I would hope that at closing, they would have to ante up
For that person's
For the seller.
1/2 EDU,
for whatever was,
because they're not being billed for the full 5, they're being only billed for,
Aha.
correct.
Because the project isn't done yet.
Correct.
So, once Chris issues a CO on this project,
mhm,
they're gonna get changed a different amount of EDUs. But we've already billed
I know,
them.
so I think you're stuck till next year. I think, I mean, I don't see how else you can do that.
I don't know, maybe that's a question for,
I thought you were referring to if somebody, bought a house and the EDU was paid up in January, they paid it in full for the year of 2023. The house was purchased in March. At closing, they're gonna have to prorate.
residential, I get that.
In old, I would assume commercial.
But I'm referring to like when you see a change in the commercial So, because there's a big difference between the half and 5 EDUs,
Yeah, and I don't
because
see,
of our new
the-
category.
right, but with the annual billing, I don't know how you could,
Well, once it's
Keep up
put
with that.
on the tax bill, it's not gonna be able to be changed till the following year.
Right. So the town will have to eat that loss of EDUs.
Yeah.
I think we have to now too, because we are, even though we are going to, if needed, allow multiple payments for some folks this year, because it's the last chance we can do that, we were assigned by our legal counsel that this would be a one annual billing. So I don't think we can go back and say, well, we're gonna bill again now because something changed.
Yeah. I mean,
No, I'm not saying that we could or should. I'm just saying that you've got a difference between one being a residential lot that was sold to a business, that the
Well-
residential owner
Well,
actually paid a half EDU. Now you have a commercial business in there that will be functional in March of this year, and we're not going to. So my question is when you build them next year, are you gonna get them for 2024 only? So you lost these 9 months?
Yeah,
yeah,
So, okay.
I think so, I don't,
Well, that's how.
And see, that's
Property taxes are like that. You,
well, normally you pay for it at closing, like he says.
no, I mean, if your house is partially constructed, you're only assessed on the partial, building of the house, so $50,000 worth,
right,
that's what you're billed for January 1, is 50,000. In April, you finish the house and it's worth 200,000. Well, until next year's billing, you pay what it was that. Same thing if your house burns down January 2nd, you have to pay what it was assessed at January 1st.
they do this omitted tax though. I wonder if that's something, because when someone purchases something and they have other exemptions that the new owners are eligible for, there's omitted tax that's placed on their tax bill in January. So I'm wondering if we can do like an omitted tax on this,
That's a question for the comptroller's office. I can't answer. I don't know.
you know, because it's now a business.
You know? That's,
I mean, it's.
but that's,
questionable.
it's worth asking
Right.
the comptroller's office how that would, I don't
Or
know.
even maybe Tim, you could mention it to Tim.
let's ask Tim, because you have no idea how hard it is to get a hold of somebody in comptroller. They will get a hold of us in a heartbeat when they want to. You try to speak to their counsel and it's just a dead end, it's a total dead end. And our legal counsel, Matt Faber, will attest to that. He gave up after 2 months.
There's no penalty, if they don't answer, there's no penalty, so.
Well, it's kind of similar with just proceeding and forget about all of the, zoning and
Mhm.
laws that are in place.
Mhm.
State can do what they
So,
want.
we can run this
Something wrong with
scenario
that.
by
Yeah,
Tim
There's something wrong.
We'll mention it to Tim.
to see what his thoughts are on it, but my thoughts are, I told you when we met here a while ago, when we were going over EDUs, it's like, I think we're gonna have to set a date, so it gets changed, but it's gotta be done annually, it can't be done throughout the year. Now with an annual building cycle, I can't.
And that's why I think that the problem is that the water board needs numbers earlier. So again, you're gonna lose anybody new that comes in after, so you're gonna possibly lose 3+ months of somebody else that all of a sudden is new that comes in, either whether it's residential or commercial.
Yeah, well, if somebody comes in
So I almost
new
think we
next
need to change
year,
that date that we do this. And I know it's harder for you because of,
The date you do the assessment, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. But you're gonna have that, you can't just keep reassessing and reassessing throughout the year, I disagree
No.
with it. It's gotta be done,
Yeah,
One
I think we agreed to that, but we don't wanna do it too early because.
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's-
So if we do this in July, you could lose 6 months of EDUs, because you have to wait till the next year.
no, you wouldn't do your you wouldn't provide that assessment to the building until the end of the year. The water board still, whatever it is in July, by the end of July, that is what it is. If something changes after that, you don't go in and change it again. You provide that to that board,
Correct.
and those are your numbers as of July, the end of July. You're supposed to, August 15th is your due date for providing the information.
Correct.
So, end of July, it's done. That's your cutoff. If anything changes from July to the end of the year, you could do a December reassessment for billing. That will reflect the following year's reassessment to the water board.
Okay, so you're saying just the water board might be a little.
Yeah, the numbers won't, but
You're gonna have to,
I'm more
because-
concerned about the town having to wait for that full year, and then it's really a loss of EDUs during that time period, because you're only gonna assess them for the following calendar year. So,
But
but if you can't do anything with it, you can't, I mean, but it just, it's gonna,
let's flip the coin. So you assessed a commercial building
yeah,
in January, put it, that's your bill for 2023, it went out.
correct,
That business closes in March.
correct,
You just gained all that money.
true. Let's hope that doesn't happen in the town.
Let's hope it doesn't happen, I'm saying flip the coin, it's the same risk, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same as the taxes.
But as we're looking at economic growth and trying to build in the town, I just can foresee this as really being, you know, a loss of revenue
Well, lots of
for,
revenue
toward that,
towards the debt.
Yeah, but there
Correct.
isn't any revenue, the town's not making any money
No,
off these EDUs,
yeah.
it goes right to the,
well, we are,
Right to the debt.
because otherwise what happens is that whatever funds that are not available, it gets now dispersed among those people that are within water district number 6. That's lost revenue, it's a lost EDU revenue.
Yeah, debt repayment,
Correct. Yeah, towards the repayment
Payment.
of that
Yeah.
30-year bond.
yeah, I hate calling it revenue too, because it really isn't. It's
Yeah.
just debt repayment,
Yeah, burden,
it's a tax.
burden or tax is what we should call it.
Benefit tax.
Correct. So, but that's worth considering, looking at, that, what you mentioned,
Well,
Julie.
ask
Omitted
Tim.
tax, huh?
yeah, I'll ask him. when I
See what
see
Tim
him.
Tim's got
says.
a lot of ideas.
You know, I mean, describe it to them, I mean, you know, you get a business that comes in and, I don't know.
This still would only have to be done annually. They wouldn't see that till the next tax bill, right?
But they don't see
Yeah,
it
but-
for that year.
Yeah, they won't see it to the next tax bill.
Right.
And when do you,
But-
when do you need your information so you can generate the invoices? You need it by December?
No, before
No,
that,
November.
November.
I would say
November.
beginning of
November
November.
15th.
Right,
So-
Usually we have to have everything sent to the
so
county.
we'd have to meet
So
twice.
if there's any unpaid tax bills, any re-levies, anything like that has to be sent to them by November 15th.
So we really should,
October.
yeah, we're really gonna have to set
So,
up,
so
we're
I
gonna have
think
to
we,
set up a schedule.
I think we meet in July and decide on the EDUs for the water board, then we meet in October and,
Yeah, meet in
Give
July,
you-
but give yourself enough time to complete the report for them too. So
Yeah.
the report.
well, it's up to date, that's what I gave you, that's pretty much an updated report that I gave to you tonight. It's very easy to kind of
Yeah,
forward
then
that
do-
on, it's
do a
just,
one- Do a one-page cover letter
right,
explaining what the changes are,
right.
because that's what they're gonna be looking for. They really don't need the spreadsheet, they just need the
Total numbers.
total numbers and what changed and why, you know? So you do that in July, and then in October, you finalize the assessment for the November billing. So she can have the numbers for November.
And then it's locked in until we meet again.
Till the next year?
Yeah, you can,
You don't change that, but as far as the EDUs and the billing, that'll be done in October for us, that we give to her.
correct.
And then again, business is coming in December,
Just
November, it's lost, that you're gonna lose that month and a half,
Yeah.
2 months of
still be doing, we'll
EDU tax.
gonna be doing this,
Yeah.
if there's any changes in process, right? Just cataloging it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Adjournment, motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Rico third. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
What is it?
It It is 8:47. Thank you very much, everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Brian.
So please copy me on your correspondence.